Can you maybe tell us a little bit from your experience in the companies that you worked at, either full-time or as a consultant? What was the impact of this mindset shift when you changed from churn research into retention research?
Yeah, so much. So like the entire point of retention research is to increase retention. Whatever metrics you are looking at, success criteria you are looking at, like for example, like retention rate, customer lifetime value, whatever metrics you're attributing in your organization to retention, it's to improve those metrics. So that's the entire point. And the problem is if we're looking at churned users, what happens to those users who are still trying to work with us, but might be on the edge and on like the brink of churning, who we might be able to talk to and come bring back because we're addressing the problems, we're addressing the unmet needs. So the big shift that happened is that instead of spending a lot of time, money, and effort on trying to reach people who don't care about us anymore, who are no longer interested, who we've probably lost trust with, because these days you can lose trust with your customers in a minute and won't come back. And not only that, they will tell everybody else not to come to you.
For sure, yeah.
Reviews matter. People use reviews so much. So if your product can get reviewed, that will be seen, right? So the biggest shift was instead of focusing on these people who are quite frankly out the door, not saying that people aren't important. Of course, there's an important part of churn to think about, but instead of that, we were focused on things that were actually tangible, that could very, very clearly increase the thing that we cared about the most, which is revenue. So we went and we were understanding the current customers, which meant less wasted development time on features that didn't matter. We got to deprioritize features that people didn't care about. And then we reprioritized features that people did then care about. And those completely changed the trajectory of the product roadmap, right? So we were no longer sitting there being like, well, we had this feature and we should enhance this feature. And it's like, no, nobody's using that. It's actually a pain point for people. And instead, let's focus on this feature that will solve these pain points that people are currently actually having, right? So like we completely reprioritized the product roadmaps for those particular projects, and then grew our recurring revenue and grew our overall revenue. And we were able to positively impact things like customer lifetime value because people were more satisfied. Therefore, they were staying a longer amount of time rather than dipping out. And like one thing that I do recommend is looking into your analytics and seeing the point where people usually churn, and try to find participants for your research that are right around that time frame, because usually we can find, oh, well, it seems like in 3 months people usually leave. Okay, what has happened? Like target people who are like 2.5 months into using your product and understand what their experience might be, because you could keep them, which is a lot less expensive than losing somebody and then trying to acquire new users.